All right, so I just got the version 11 Tesla software. Figured I'd come out and take a look at what's new. We've got a lot of user interface design changes. A lot of the elements have changed or moved, so I figured I'd come and take a look. I just got it on the Model 3. I haven't got it on the Model X yet. That hopefully will be pushed to my Model X pretty soon, but the Model 3 looks pretty surprising and pretty cool so far, so let's check it out. So taking a quick look at the new user interface, you can see that things are a lot more simple than they used to be. The icons have moved over here to the center. The temperature controls are now on either side, so is closer to the driver or the passenger, whoever's going to be using whichever side, right? So it makes a lot more sense. A lot of the user interface buttons or data items have moved to settings overall, and we'll get to that in a little bit. The settings have changed. I like a lot of this quick controls that they have put in for this new version. Looks like volume is about the same spot, but you have all these icons. Also, we'll get to that in a little bit. These icons are movable now, so you can actually swap them out for different apps that you want to use regularly. Taking a look at the new navigation panel, you can see that there's a lot of changes where it comes to simplicity and usability. So one thing that we noticed right away is that the top portion doesn't have quite as much information as it used to have. It doesn't feel quite as jumbled. A lot of the icons that have previously been in a different location have moved to either settings or they've moved to a different part of the screen. So for example, the compass button that changes your orientation on the screen and which way you're facing, or whether or not you're in turn-by-turn mode, that has moved over to the left-hand side, so it's easier to reach. I normally will use that when if I'm ever searching around on the map and then I need to get back really quickly, I'll press that button to get me back to where I need to be. So I like having that right there, which is really awesome. Another thing that is changed on the first glance is over here we have what used to be down in the bottom right-hand corner. It is the satellite, the traffic view, and then what used to be there on the bottom was the charging search function. So that allowed you to find superchargers and destination chargers or third-party chargers that were within your range. But right now, if we zoom into, say, San Francisco, you see all of these items all over the screen that are just points of interest. So the De Young Museum, like the ferry building, everything in San Francisco that you might be interested in, that would be a quick way to navigate to those. But if you're not interested in seeing all of that, you can now click that off. And it makes everything a lot more simple. So things don't get quite as confusing as they did before, although it is kind of nice to have that on, so I'm going to leave that on now. The next item I want to focus on is probably the most anticipated function in the Tesla navigation window, and that is the ability to navigate to multiple destinations, right? So adding waypoints into your drive. So let's take a look at this really quick. So I was kind of playing around with it a little bit earlier, trying to figure out how it worked. So let's go from Monterey, California to Chico, California. As you can see, it still tells me where I'm going to need the charge to get up to my destination, right? That doesn't look very different. But one thing you notice is that the Navigate on Autopilot button is now just a little icon instead of a big button up on top that says Navigate on Autopilot. Now, if you come in here and you click on the additional settings button, there's something new here. Now, you have settings which have not really changed at all. You still have the ability to do the automatic navigation or using HOV lanes or avoiding tolls and things like that, right? But if you come back here and you take a look, you can actually add stops in. So if I wanted to go to Paradise, California, which is my hometown, I can add that in there. Now, as you can see that it automatically went to going from Monterey to Paradise, California directly, and Chico is kind of in between the two towns. So what I can do is I can change it. I want to go to Chico first and then Paradise later, and it'll show me where I need to charge and what I need to do. It'll calculate it all out as I add it in. So really quick, I'm going to take a look at adding in more locations. So let's just add some more stops. Let's say I want to go to Redding, California. There we go. We're going to add that in there. And then let's just keep on adding stops. I'm going to go all the way up to Bend, Oregon. Okay, added Bend, Oregon in there. Let's just kind of see how far we can take this. Let's go up to Seattle. There's Seattle. And then I'm going to go in and edit trip, make sure that everything is in order. So I want to go to Redding after Paradise, and then Bend after Redding, and then Seattle. So let's take a look at that. Let's see how that changes things. All right, so after about a minute of it thinking, it was able to give me all of my stops. So all the red icons, just like before, are all of my charging stops that I need to make. But if you look in closely, you can see that it's taking me to my destinations, which is awesome. So it's giving me everything that I need to make sure that I get to where I'm going. Say I was going to be visiting lots of family throughout the whole western coast of the United States, I'd be able to do it without any problem. So this is a really, really cool function. It's going to make things a lot easier going forward. So I'm really excited about this. Really, really cool. All right, so the next thing I want to kind of look at is the audio. So we have a new kind of change to the way that the audio works. So if you click on the audio button, it brings it all up, and you can see the music media options, but they've changed, right? So you see your standard favorites, top stations, and all of that for your Tesla streaming account. But now, instead of having everything over here on the left-hand side, we have a drop-down. So if I want to switch to Bluetooth, I can. If I wanted to switch to like the streaming or Spotify or karaoke or radio or anything like that, I can. So navigating the media settings has changed a little bit, and it's honestly, I think, a little bit easier. But at first, it just seems like there's a lot more steps to switch everything around. But if you come up here and you click on this button, what it does is it condenses everything, and it leaves it so that you can have your sources here available, so you don't have to deal with the drop down, and you still have a lot of space up here. So if you have that setting on, then it's great. However, if you don't want that on, you can always condense it down, which is actually a really welcome. Having that ability to make it smaller but still have the media controls on the screen is really awesome. Now, if we go into the settings, you will notice there's not a lot that has changed. We still have the auto immersive sound. We have the slider for immersive sound and everything in the audio settings. They have added the sub control, so you are changing the amount of power going to the subwoofer, which is pretty awesome to be able to dial that in a little bit more. Before we had the bass control, but now we have a lot more control than we did before. So you even have a little bit more granularity when it comes to which sources you want to be showing up on the screen, because not only do we have the function for looking at our sources in the media control panel, but we also have the ability now to move icons around. So if you come in here and you want to have karaoke rather, in there, you just hold it down and move it over like that, just like you're dealing with an Android or an iPhone app. Really, really easy to change that around and add things in. So it looks like you can add 4 icons at a time, and those will save. So if you ever want to move in here and you say, I want Spotify, I don't really need all the other stuff because that's all I'm going to use all the time, then you can. I like to have the option for the camera, which looks like the dash cam icon now too, but I can have them both in there just like that. The energy function I'm definitely going to use a lot while I'm on road trips. I like to kind of take a quick peek to see how I'm doing, but overall I think that these are the icons that I use the most. But overall, I like that they have moved things to the settings. So let's take a deep dive into the settings really quick. As you can see, when you bring up the settings, you have your quick controls. A lot of things have been added and changed into here. Before, you used to have cards, you used to be able to swipe back and forth to see different data, but now a lot of it resides here. So you have the windshield wiper function. You can still press the button and have the windshield wiper controls come on. Now it actually says off, which is awesome, so people don't get confused whether or not it's on or off. But it's also here in the quick controls settings. I really like that. I like that they have that. They've put the child locks, the window locks, and the glove box right up here, so you can get into things really easily. The record button for your dash cam now resides in these quick controls, and so does the Sentry mode. So there's just a lot of things, a lot of functions that you would use on a regular basis or might need in a pinch are available and ready to go, including your brightness controls, which is really, really cool. Moving on to pedals and steering. This is a new setting. Before, I think it was just under driving. You still have acceleration settings, you have your steering, your regenerative braking, stopping mode, all of that stuff. Nothing really changed there. Charging is a cool one. It is now in the settings instead of just its own special card. In fact, if you close it down and then you just click on the battery icon, boom, goes straight to charging. So that's really cool. Still all of the same things for the most part. Seems like the scheduling and everything is pretty much stayed the same. It's just now residing in the settings window itself. Let's take a look at autopilot. Yeah, not a lot of changes for autopilot. The automatic blind spot camera, though, that is one change that has come up, so I'll give that a try. Not really seeing anything other than that, but I'm really excited about that automatic blind spot camera. So basically what it does is it allows you to take a look at the fender cameras when you are changing lanes. So every time I put on the blinker, it should pop up. There it is. That's the left-hand blinker, and there's the right-hand blinker. So if for some reason you don't want to look at your mirrors, but you want to look at the screen, now you can. I think that gives you a little bit better view at things that are right there next to you, which is really cool. So I'm going to leave that on. We'll take a look at locks really quick. It looks like things are pretty much the same. The lights are about the same. Display, I'm not really seeing anything different here either. Yeah, the trips, you still have the navigation settings and everything, which you can get to on the navigation window itself. And that's pretty much it for a lot of these different things. So in the service options, you do have the ability to do seat and steering calibration, which is pretty cool. I have actually been having some problems with my driver's seat. The way it's indexing isn't quite working, so I'm going to give that a try out and see if that works. But you would just come in and click that button, and then I'm guessing get out of the car while it indexes itself, calibrates the settings, the seats there. All right, so moving on, taking a look at our new toy box icons and everything. We've got most of the same stuff. We do have the new light show. So the Model X has always had the ability to do a little light show with music and flapping its doors and its mirrors. And now the Model 3 and the Model X, the Model S, the Model 3, and now the Model 3, the Model Y, the Model S can all do it too. So that's going to be pretty fun. It's a fun little trick to do while you are celebrating the holidays with your friends and family, to show them, hey, look what my car can do. As you can see, under entertainment, we now have all of your Netflix stuff. You have TikTok added onto it, so you can get deep into that black hole of videos that are fun and interesting. Looks like the browser has been moved to the entertainment button, so that's changed. You can also get it down here in the quick apps button in this card, and you can add it to your dock there if you really need to. Last bit of information that we should go over is now we have under display. One thing that I did miss is the ability to change it from light to dark appearance at will. Now let's jump into the new controls for the climate control. So we still have the ability to do our climate control slider here. That hasn't really changed, and whether or not you're going to have it split mode. So you have the dual zone air conditioning or heating. If we go over here and we take a look at both of these at the same time, you can see that the controls are pretty much the same. If you click on the settings icon, you can bring up your standard Model 3 or Model Y controls, and you can still split the airflow, move it around, do all of that, everything you need to do. But you now have the auto function for the front seats for the seat heater. This is actually pretty cool. I do have it on right now, and it was just heating me for just like a minute there, because it's trying to keep the climate just right in the car, just the way that I need it, and give me a little bit of warmth there. So that was actually pretty cool. I think that it works really well so far. But yeah, you've got everything you need. You keep the climate on function. You have the dog mode function, which is awesome, and then you still have your camp mode. Okay, so those are the main changes that I'm seeing in the new version 11 of the Model 3. I'll take a look at the Model X, and I'll put a video up about that too when I finally get that downloaded. But let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this new update. Let me know if I missed anything, if there's anything that's really important that I really should be going over, and just let me know what you think about what is going on with Tesla. I, for one, like the new positions of the user elements. I'm not exactly sure about the icon colors and the new style. I think it goes back to the original Tesla style, which I didn't really like that much. I like the monochrome look of all the icons, but for the most part, I like where this is going. I like where Tesla's taking things, the more customizable functions, the ability to make it kind of your own instead of what Tesla is telling you need to put on your screen. And the simplification. I like simplification. I think that a lot of these items could go into settings, and that's what the Tesla did. They put a lot of items in the settings that we don't really need on a day-to-day basis. So I really like where they're going with it. I think that this customizability is really important when it comes to your car, and Tesla's doing a great job. So thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions, if you want me to go over anything, and I'll see you in the next one.